Hey guys, Eddie here, and I'm going to give you guys a quick tour of the interior of the Subaru WRX, and this is my car in particular. I know it's quite dirty, but it's the winter months and there's a little bit of neglect going on. So I'm just going to come around, do a quick exterior tour, and we're going to hop on inside. So one of the first things that you'll notice in this car is the actual side sills right here. You might have a little bit of trouble with that, especially lifting your legs up over it. You want to make sure you don't scuff it. Tell that to your lady passengers. It's quite important for them. Going over a little bit of the interior quality parts of the car, you'll notice that this is soft touch. This is like a cloth type material. This is soft touch, but other things are just plastic, and I'm perfectly okay with that. So moving on to the interior within itself, you'll see that my carpets are very dirty at the time, but it has 3 pedals, and I'm planning on doing a video on how to heel toe, because it's quite easy in this car. But this is the premium package. And one of the gripes that I have with the car that I've mentioned before is the fact that the trunk is very close to the traction control button. So other things that exist are this little dial to increase and decrease the actual brightness of the display of the actual gauge cluster. It has some dead buttons here that I don't know what they're supposed to do. Then it also has the hood, and down at the bottom it has the gas tank. These seats are not electric, and I'm okay with that. So they have the standard run-of-the-mill adjustment here, and then it also has adjustment right here, and that's enough for me. And it also has an adjustment right there. But since I'm the only one who drives the car, I don't go ahead and fiddle with that stuff anymore. So coming back to the actual seating position here in the car, you'll notice the steering wheel that I've mentioned before has quite a bit of features to it. It's quite busy. Has like a couple not gauges, but buttons on this side. Some cruise control is over here. That's basically the only thing that's over here are your cruise control settings. And then it has these other buttons here in the back. Okay, so looking at the actual center of the car itself, it has the actual manual transmission. No other way of driving a car. The e-brake handle, which is right here, made out of some plastic stuff and rubber, and this is just like some synthetic plastic. The cup holders are quite nice to get the job done. Things don't move around much. And then it has the heated seats, which I didn't think I was going to enjoy, but it turns out that I do. The actual material of the seats itself is a nice cloth. I'm okay with that. I don't need fancy leather. It has some soft touch plastics up here, and then it has this I guess synthetic carbon fiber or fake carbon fiber that some people get all upset about, but I don't really have a problem with it. I kind of just wish that this part though was the same as this I guess like piano black type finish that's here, and then this here is soft touch plastics. This is hard, and then the glove compartment has hard plastic as well. The little aluminum around the vents excuse me, is a nice touch to it. Gives it a nice finish. And then the buttons itself for the AC, like these toggling buttons, they do have a nice finish to them. I really can't complain about that whatsoever. And then the buttons on the actual display are, you know, they get the job done. I can't complain about that either. I am going to do a formal review on this screen that's right here, as well as this screen that's up here, which I'm gonna just start the car up. I'm gonna reach into my back pocket, and I'm gonna go through a couple things in the car with you. So one of the cool things that the car does, when you go ahead and start it up, it does that cool little sweep on it. And then on the center display, it tells you about the Starlink system, and of course you get your warnings that you get in usually a car that does have a display like this. And you know, reorienting my focus onto the actual center itself, right there where it says the liftgate handle, excuse me, door liftgate slash trunk open, I'm gonna go ahead and close the door. I'm gonna show you one of the cool features about this display that I like. This button that's right here beneath the steering wheel, it does a couple features, and I'm going to toggle it up and down. So you can go ahead and hit it like so, or hit it in the other direction. It basically cycles through the same three things. Let me go ahead and turn off the radio. Alright, that was my Bluetooth that just hooked up. So I'm going to go ahead and toggle that, and this is basically this portion of the screen right there that I'm going to be showing you, and it shows you how long the engine's been running. In other words, the time of your actual trip itself. So it's been 1 minute that it's been on, so there it says 1 minute right there. You could just turn it off altogether, or another thing that could pop up on it is your miles per hour. It's kind of redundant, but you know, it's a gimmicky thing where you have your miles per hour there and your miles per hour over there. Right beneath that, in that little box, if I go ahead and put the car in gear, which I'm going to right now, well, let me take up the parking brake, maybe it'll show up then. Nope, it's not happening. It's supposed to show me what gear the car is in, but it's not doing it right now. So let me just drift on backwards. But usually it tells you what gear you're in right there, in that little box that's there. I don't think anything else comes out. You get your miles per gallon right there, kind of like an economy thing, where yellow means you could do better, and when it's completely green it means you're doing pretty good. Overall, this car does pretty damn well with a fuel economy. So that's basically the main instrument cluster here. And I already went over the buttons that are here on the side. When it comes to the actual buttons here on the passenger door, you have your window lock, you have your mirrors, you have your ability to lock your doors and unlock your doors. So the only window that has auto up and auto down is the main driver's button. All the other ones are, you know, up and down manually. But whatever, it is what it is. So moving over to the actual steering wheel itself, let me just put the e-brake on. You have your cruise control buttons right there. There's nothing behind the steering wheel whatsoever. There's nothing behind it on this side either. So I already went through these buttons with you in particular, and then it comes to all these buttons that are over here on this side of the steering wheel, which I don't necessarily understand, but for the most part, you have your mute button and your enter button for your commands. When you're actually like listening to music, you can toggle your tracks or your songs going left and right here, volume up and down here. You know, being that one of the most common things you use is volume up and down, it gets kind of hard to sort this out. Then you have your voice command system, which I can't get it to work. I don't know if it's because I have my funny accent or what the problem is, but I can't get it to work. Then your source, if you want to change from a CD to Bluetooth to whatever, you could do it through there. And to hang up the call and to make a call is right here, and this works really well. I'm very, very happy with how that actual system works. So that's a quick tour of the steering wheel. I mean, I know that on another video I griped about how much stuff is on it. At the end of the day, it's a good steering wheel. The shape itself, let me see if I can pull back a little bit more. The shape itself is fantastic. I like the fact that it's flat here at the bottom. It makes for a nice grip. It does have a bit of a cushion in it. I've had steering wheels that are Alcantara. I don't know how to say it properly, but this actual steering wheel feels really good. I like the red stitching in it. It's a nice touch to it, and the actual airbag part of it feels quite nice as well. Going over here to the main screen that's over here, I know I've had a gripe about this. Let me just pull this down there so you guys can see it. It has a couple different features that you could actually like scroll through it. So amongst those, and this is the primary one that I use, this one tells me how many miles per gallon I'm doing at the moment, or during this trip, excuse me, how many average miles per gallon I'm getting for the actual car itself in the time that I've owned it, which is 27.5. I think that's really good. And then it also tells me how many miles I've driven on this particular trip on this particular screen. Then it tells me the temperature, the time, and how many miles per gallon I'm getting in actuality there at the top in the middle. Then it has the boost gauge that, you know, it's like the fanboy go-to thing. I barely ever use the screen, because if I'm going fast, then I'm not gonna be looking at this little dial here that as I rev it, the dial just moves up. I guess, I don't know, I guess it could be cool. I don't fault anybody for liking it. Then I have my different menus, because a lot of these things could be adjusted. Here I have the time, the temperature, and how many miles per gallon I'm doing. This is another cool one. I have 120 miles till I'm empty, and then you could change which one of your trip calculators you want to have going on. So for example, on this tank of gas I'm doing 25.8, but I could change it to like my trip B and just alternate trip A and trip B. You'll see that average miles per gallon change. This particular screen shows me my fuel economy over an elapsed period of time, and I'll actually try to get a little bit closer for you. And you can see that you know, in the first minute, hypothetically I'm doing 25 miles to a gallon, even though I haven't moved the car. But as you go driving, you'll see it start filling in, and it'll be in green when you've been doing some more economy style driving, and then yellow when you're doing more, or even red for that matter, when you could be doing a little bit better with your fuel economy. Then you have this particular screen, which I haven't quite figured out yet, so you guys could leave me some comments, or I could actually, if I cared, I would actually read the instruction manual and see what it's like, what it's supposed to be for. But for my daily purposes, I do not use this, so I apologize in advance if you wanted some insight on this, as I'm not able to provide you any. And then I just leave it on the regular screen where I usually leave it. So that's a quick tour about the interior of the car. Oh yeah, carrying on, forgot to mention, it has a good little cubby hole here, and this part comes up a little bit so that things don't slide around. So this is where my sunglasses live, and this is where my badge for my place of work live, and they don't move around much. In addition to that, it also has a little cubby hole here where I keep gum and the cell phone charger. But some of the cool things it has a aux port, a USB port, and an actual charging port. Excuse me, an AC port. So sorry, a DC port. I don't know my electricity. Anyway, so that's a quick introduction to the interior of the car. If you guys have any questions, I'm gonna do a separate film or video just to show you guys about the actual radio itself and the different functions here, because that's a whole different process within itself. So yep, that's all right guys, let me know if you have any questions, or subscribe, or leave me a thumbs up, or even a thumbs down. I seem to have been collecting a lot of those lately. I don't know who I pissed off, but whatever. Have a good day, guys.